Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton Amelia.
Easton back at it. Some more small school predictions. Week of April 13th. We're going to start a new thing here for me. During football and basketball, I would do all of last week's scores first and then go to predictions. I think that was killing my average view duration. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to start with Class 1. We're going to look at last week's scores and then go straight to the predictions rather than just going through all the scores. Hopefully that'll help out getting some watch time. So let's go ahead with it. Last week's scores. Halfway defeated Dadeville 11-1. Halfway's now 11-3 on the season. Kingsville gets it done against Wellington Napoleon. Kingsville's 4-3 this season. They're a little iffy, but this is a good win for them. Wheatland, they are on a roll. They beat Crocker 9-0. Bramer beat Lathrop 10-0. Atlanta gets it done a second time against Green City this season, 3-2. And the one we are so excited for, the Class 1 game of the week, was Northland Christian versus Faith Christian Academy. Northland wins this one 4-3. You have any thoughts on any of these?
I was disappointed. I was going to be disappointed, but I got them all right. So this was a major stepping stone in my career of getting Class 1 games right.
I went 3-3 in Class 1, so I wasn't perfect. So before we get to the predictions for the Class 1 games, I will state our top 10 for Class 1. I'll go ahead and start doing that, top 10 rankings. So we've got a panel. Zach Brown's been on the show. Anybody that's been around since I started will know Zach Brown. And then Easton and I. So if you vote on a team to be first place, you get 10. Second place gets 9 points. Third place, 8, so on and so forth. 10th place gets 1 point in your polls. So then we add those points up. So if you're unanimous number 1, you get 30. If you're a unanimous 10, you get 3 points, that kind of thing. Yeah. So our number 1 for Class 1 ends up being Wheatland. They received 29 votes. I had Iran at 1.
Okay.
So Iran is number 2 in our poll. Atlanta gets 3. Halfway is at 4. St. Elizabeth ends up at 5 in our top 10. Faith Christian Academy is 6. Northland Christian is 7. Midway at 8. Bramer is number 9. And our 10 is South Holt. Receiving votes was Billings, so they are technically 11. Let's go ahead with the predictions this week. Glasgow versus Bevier. If I'm saying that correctly, we've got 3 games happening tonight that we're predicting. This Glasgow game, Stoutland and St. Elizabeth all hosting tonight. Tomorrow, Wellington, Napoleon, and Marion County host. And on Thursday, it's Northeast Cairo. They are hosting New Franklin. So let's go ahead with the Yellow Jackets versus the Wildcats. I think the home team will get this one done, Easton. They're scoring 5 runs a game, so it's not like they got some over-the-top offense, but I think they'll overpower Bevier here. They're 3-1 against them since 2021. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. Bevier has no significant wins. They beat a winless Macon County with Buckland twice and a 2-win team on opening day. But Glasgow, they have not lost to a Class 1 team yet. They have a big strength of schedule advantage here, and I think that helps them win.
Stoutland versus Iberia is our Class 1 game of the week. This one should be really interesting. Both these teams sitting at 9-3 currently. Iberia is a Class 2 team. I think they've got a potential state championship run in them still. They've got a really tough Valley Catholic team to go through, though, so we'll see what happens there. They're undefeated last year. I think they're still pretty good. I saw them against Licking this past Friday. They lost 2-1. I think Licking scored their 2 runs in the 6th inning. So it was a pitcher's duel. That was the fastest game I've been to all season as well. So that was really enjoyable getting home with daylight. So I will take Iberia here. They're scoring 10.8 runs a game, and they're 12-2 against Stoutland since 2011.
Yeah, Stoutland has a very tough strength of schedule, and this game falls right in line with that tough schedule. And Iberia, they're a really good team. They're on a winning streak. In their last 3 games, they scored 16, 7, and 28 runs. They do have one common opponent. Iberia did beat Bell 6-0, 8-6, I should say, and Stoutland lost 10-0. So I kind of going to take that in consideration. I'm going to take Iberia.
St. Elizabeth, our Class 1 number 5 team, is hosting Dixon. Dixon's a solid team. I believe they're Class 3. We left them out of the rankings, though. I do think the Hornets will win this one at home. They're scoring 6.8 a game, and they're only allowing 2.4, so the pitching staff is off to a really good start.
Yeah, St. Elizabeth, they're on a 6-game winning streak. I mean, when you play a really good California team, Camdenton and Blair Oaks team to start your season off, you might start 0-3, but they've picked it up, and they're able to get 5 games in a row, I should say. Is it 5 or 6?
6.
6 games in a row. So I think they're able to beat Dixon, who responded after losing their 5-game winning streak. They dropped back-to-back, and I think they dropped their 3rd in a row.
Wellington Napoleon versus Lafayette County. Both these teams ended up missing our rankings. I will take the Higginsville Huskers, though. They're scoring 5.1 a game, and they're 11-0 against Wellington Napoleon since 2012.
Okay, this game I'm really excited for. Lafayette County won 11 straight versus Napoleon, and I feel like that just in itself is the reason they'll be able to win this. I mean, they're the bigger class and better team.
Marion County versus Green City. This one's a get-right game for both of these teams. Marion County sitting at 4-4. Green City 4-5. Both these teams want to be playing better than what they are right now. I do think the Gophers will win this one on the road. They're scoring 5.3 a game. They're 3-0 against Marion County since 2021. As I said, off to a pretty rough start. I think they're missing some starters in the triangular that they played Atlanta and Kirksville's JV. They dropped both of those games. But then I believe they had their guys back the second time they played Atlanta and lost that one. So it's an iffy start. I think they'll get it together, though.
I mean, when you play Atlanta twice, the top team in our rankings, that helps your strength of schedule. They lost a 10-inning game 3-2, and the first time it was a 4-1 game. So even if they were missing starters, their starters are back. They played a great team. I think they're able to get done versus Marion County.
Northeast Cairo versus New Franklin. I think Cairo can win this one at home. They're scoring 5.8 a game. They're 14-3 against New Franklin since 2010, so they've got over a decade of domination against the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Northeast Cairo, they dropped their last game, ending their 4-game winning streak versus Glasgow. But New Franklin responded well after three losses, I should say, coming off a 13-1 victory versus Smithton. I believe they carry that in and found a way to beat Cairo.
Let's check out the scores from last week in Class 2. Tipton beat Lynn 3-1. Easton, Bernie, and Bloomfield did not happen. We are unfamiliar with the reasoning there. Maysville defeated Putnam County 3-2. I believe that was our Class 2 game of the week. Canton defeated Schuyler County 7-0. Chaffee beat St. Vincent last night 8-4. And New Heights beat Miller last night 7-2. 2 hits that whole entire game for Miller. So 2 runs on 2 hits. I don't know if there was home runs or if those were unearned runs on errors or what, but New Heights, that's a really impressive win. We have them at 10 in Class 2, so that's a pretty good baseball team, and they get a statement win.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that. I mean, I looked at statistically, both teams are very close, but I thought Miller was able to get it done, but New Heights kind of showed that they're a really good team and something that we should be watching going into the later part of the season.
So the top 10 for Class 2 are number 1. The only unanimous number 1 that we had, Valley Catholic, is our first position in Class 2. Number 2 is Iberia. Chaffee's got the 3. Putnam County is 4. Maysville has the 5. Tipton is 6. Puxico gets the 7. Bloomfield is 8. Valley is 9. New Heights 10. I expect them to go up if they continue to win. And receiving votes was Gainesville. 1 vote. That was from me. I had them at 10. So I was not able to get Gainesville in there. I think they're a good baseball team. But they've got a really tough game coming up. We're about to talk about that right now. So Class 2 is on your screen. Tonight we have St. Paul and Plattsburgh hosting. Thursday, Valley, Norwood, and Clopton host. And then on the 19th, I believe that is Saturday, Gainesville will be hosting Licking. So St. Paul Lutheran versus Lone Jack Easton. Lone Jack is the best small school in the state. They are our Class 3 number 1. We'll get to those rankings as well here soon. They're scoring 9.4 a game, and they're allowing 2.4. There's just, I don't want to say there's no way that St. Paul Lutheran wins this game, but there's basically no way they win this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Lone Jack has been dominant all year long. Their only losses are to a Class 4 Stratford and a Class 6 Smith Cotton, who's been playing really well. Their offense knows how to put up runs. They're averaging 9.4. I feel like this was a pretty easy pick.
Plattsburgh's hosting Putnam County. I think the Midgets will get this one done. They're scoring 9.4 a game, just like Lone Jack, actually. And they're 2-1 against Plattsburgh since 2022. I believe they'll make that 3-1, even though I think that's a little bit of a drive for them. I think so that's like hour and a half, 2 hours away from them, if I'm not wrong. So they've got a little bit of a travel. I don't think that will bother them.
So I'm going to pick the best mascot in the state of Missouri to win this one. The Putnam County Midgets, they're a top 4 team state in our rankings, and Plattsburgh, they give up runs in bunches. When you look at their schedule, they're either shutting them out, limiting them to 3 to none, or they're giving up 10 to 15 runs. So I think Putnam County is able to get done.
Valley Catholic versus West County is our Class 2 game of the week. Valley Catholic, as I've said, is our unanimous number 1 for Class 2. West County just missed in Class 3 for the rankings. They're 10-1-1. They do have one tie in a tournament where they don't go extra innings. Valley Catholic sitting at 13-1 in this current moment. I think the home team will win this one. I think the Warriors scoring 7.2 a game. They're 23-4 against West County since 2010. So even though these are two really good teams, it'll be a very competitive game. But Valley's shown that they're dominant against West County.
Yeah, this is a very exciting matchup. When I saw this first, I was like, this game could go either way. Then I started looking deeper and deeper. Valley Catholic is a dominant team. They've only lost to Kirkwood, and that was in extras. They're honestly my favorite team to win the state title. West County with a 6-game winning streak. They are limiting their teams to 3 or less runs in 9 of their 11 games, but I still think Valley Catholic, they're able to get done.
Norwood versus Hartville. This is a pretty good rivalry on the basketball court. I'm not certain if they've got that same heat on the baseball field. But these are two good baseball teams. Norwood 7-2, Hartville 6-3. Norwood lost to Hartville already this season.
They did indeed. That was the 3-2 score.
Okay, and I think I'm going to take Norwood though. And it may seem crazy there, but they're scoring 10.1 a game. They have 7 straight losses against Hartville. I think they snap that.
Well, great minds think alike. That's what I was thinking this entire time looking at it. You're averaging 10 runs a game. Your bats were a little slow first meeting, but I feel like they're able to get them back. They lost 2 in a row. They lost to a Gainesville team, but I think they're able to come back and win this one on the road.
Clopton is hosting Montgomery County. I'm going to take the home team here. 10.6 runs per game. This is another one. Same exact thing. 7 straight losses against Montgomery County. Not too worried about it, though. I feel like this is one of the better teams that Clopton's fielded for a while. So, give me the Hawks.
So this is a matchup that you always look at and you're like, are you better on the home or the road? Well, we're in a scenario where Clopton's 3-0 on home games and Montgomery's 4-0 on road games. Clopton's averaging 10.6 runs per game, so give me them.
All right. Gainesville versus Licking. As I said, a little vote of confidence by me in Gainesville, giving them the 10 spot. But they do have Licking, who we have top 10 in Class 3. I don't know how this game's going to go for the Bulldogs. I'm going to go with Licking. They're scoring 8.7 a game. And these two teams have only met twice via Misha's matchup history. And Licking has won both of them. So I think they make it 3-0.
Yeah, Gainesville, you're number 10 coming in on a 3-game winning streak, but Licking did have a significant win against Iberia 2-1. I think they're able to continue that stretch.
Scores from last week from Class 3. Pembroke Hill defeated Mid-Buchanan 15-6. Absolute drubbing. This kept Mid-Buchanan out of our top 10. And Pembroke Hill fell out of our top 10 because they lost by 10 to JC and then 10 to one other team. I'm forgetting who exactly it was in the Missouri River Festival. So this was a really good one for the Raiders. They also beat Southern Boone in that little 3-game trip down to the mid-Missouri area for the Missouri River Festival. So, Pembroke Hill's a good team, but those 2 10-point losses on the same day is not beautiful. East Prairie, they lose to Oran 5-1. Oran's looking real good. Fairgrove defeats Warsaw 7-3. Licking in Iberia, this was the game that I was at on Friday. As I said, pitcher's duel. I really enjoyed that one. Had a really good time at that game. California defeats Bell 11-3. This is a great win for California. They're now 9-2. I mean, they're not playing the most insane teams in the world, but they're putting together some really good wins, and they're on a streak. And Mexico, man, 15-2 against North Cal. That is a statement win. They want to be in the top 10 Easton. I don't know if I can, though. I mean, they got 7 losses, so they may stay out of the top 10 rankings this week. If they continue to win this week and next, I expect them to see our Missouri Sports Talk top 10 rankings for baseball. So I'm excited to see what Mexico can do. I'm also excited to see how North Cal bounces back from that 13-run loss at home.
Yeah, I think that's a very crucial to think about. But I think Mexico, one of the best teams in the statewide. I mean, they had some significant wins early on. They struggled as well. But I think that statement win is big. Also looking at Pembroke Hill, that mid-buck game, I was not expecting that scoreboard when we were looking at it. So that kind of made my decision very hard to put them in. I probably have them at 11 right now. If they're able to win this week, I wouldn't be shocked if they're able to get East Prairie versus Oran. I guess you just got to stick with the returning state champions because they haven't played much games, but they're legit this year.
All right, now that we've wrapped up our scores from last week, what was your record this past week?
13-4.
I went 12-5, so Easton's 1-0 against me in our predictions. We'll see how our schools go on Thursday.
Nah, it's not looking good right now. We need some wins.
All right, so our top 10 for Class 3. Lone Jack, they got 29 votes. They are number 1. Lawson was your number 1.
Yeah.
They are sitting at 2 in the Missouri Sports Talk top 10. They've got 27 votes total. I believe I have them at 2 as well. I think Zach had them at 2. Fairgrove, they are the 3. Scott City, currently undefeated this season. They're looking good. They've got the 4. North Callaway was our 5 before we saw this 13-run loss. So expect them to drop, but they are still a top 10 team for sure. Number 6 is West Platte. They've had an easier schedule, but I like how they look this year. They've got 10 wins right now. Lamar sitting at 8-0 is our number 7. Diamond was 7-1 when we put out these rankings. They are our number 8 in the top 10. They actually lost to Ash Grove last night, so I don't know 100% if they'll be in the top 10 next week. Licking, they're looking solid this year. They're 9, and Stockton is the 10 for us. And we all 3 had the same exact 10 teams in our top 10. So nobody's receiving votes. Nobody's our technical number 11. And I think that's okay because that means that we agree how it looks in Class 3 this year. So overall, we've got some good teams. I think Pembroke Hill, Mid-Buchanan, and West County are the 3 really knocking on the door in Class 3 potential teams to see themselves in our rankings next week. So let's go ahead with our predictions. We've got Twin Rivers tonight, I believe. Yeah, Twin Rivers and Centralia tonight. Tomorrow it's Scott City and Windsor hosting. And then on Thursday, Diamond and Lathrop will be hosting games. So we'll start off with Twin Rivers versus Portageville. Twin Rivers, they're 8-3, but I don't know if they really have what Portageville has. The Bulldogs are scoring 7.3 a game, and they're 10-3 against the Royals since 2010.
Twin Rivers, I think they're able to stick up to the task. I feel like this is the district final preview, so I wouldn't be shocked if we're predicting this later in the future. But Twin Rivers has shut down their opponents to 3 runs or less in 7 games of the season, which, I mean, that just shows their pitching staff. So if they're able to continue their pitching staff dominance, I think they're able to get this one done.
Centralia versus Macon. This one feels pretty easy. You mentioned it to me before we started recording. They've got multiple same opponents this year, and some of them obviously Centralia hasn't played them and Macon has, or Centralia's played them and Macon hasn't. But there's 2 of them that both of them have played that we want to highlight here. It was Southern Boone and Westran. Macon beat both of them, and Centralia lost to both of them. So I will go with you here with the Tigers. They're scoring 5.6 a game, so it's not like they're over the top offense. But I mean, they're putting up the runs when they need, and they're 13-4 against Centralia since 2010 anyway. So if that similar matchup, what am I looking for? Matchup comparison. If that's not enough for you, then you can just go look at the matchup history.
Yeah, I mean, the fun fact is this is Macon's first time on the scoreboards in general, so I'm going to have them start 1-0. I mean, we've kind of both agreed with that, so let's go Tigers.
That's right. I forgot to mention that. First time I've ever predicted a Macon game because, they weren't great at football, weren't great at basketball. They've got a little bit better on the diamonds, so first time ever having Macon on the channel. Hopefully they can start it off 1-0, as you said. Scott City versus St. Pius X of Festus. I don't know if the Lancers have what it takes to beat Scott City. I mean, Scott City's 12-0 this year. They're scoring 7.8 a game, and they're only allowing 2.1, so the defense is looking really good for the Rams.
Yeah, Scott City, they're undefeated on what I looked at as a tough schedule. I mean, when you go look at the teams they've played, there's only a handful that are actually under 500, and when you're beating teams over 500, it's kind of telling, okay, this team's legit, and I feel like the Rams get it done.
Windsor's hosting Kingsville. Kingsville's off to an up-and-down start so far. Windsor's had some weird ones, like they've played some like sophomore teams and JV teams and freshman teams. They absolutely beat the tar out of Fatima's freshman team, but they turn around and they lost to Raymore Peculiar's freshman team. So, like, I don't know. It feels weird to me, like, play some varsity teams, guys. Yeah. But I do think they'll win this one. They're scoring 9.4 a game. They're 5-0 against Kingsville since 2011. But I do think at some point playing the low competition will come back to bite the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Windsor 10-2, and they're the bigger class. I feel like this was an easy pick. Kingsville's just an all-right team.
Diamond versus Stockton. This is a top 10 matchup. Diamonds are 8 and Stocktons are 10. Give me an upset, a road win for Stockton. The Tigers are scoring 8.6 a game, and they're 5-0 against Diamond since 2017, so I think the matchup history will hold.
Yeah, Stockton has 2 losses. They're both strength of schedule as well. They lost to a good Clinton team and Lone Jack. We've always obviously recognized them. They have one significant win, though, and that was Licking, so that kind of made me shy away. I'm going to take Diamond. Their ability to shut down their opponents and just put up runs on the board is just phenomenal.
Lathrop versus Lawson. This is an interesting one. Lathrop, they're an all-right team in Class 3. I'd say they're at least top 20 in Class 3. I think I can confidently say that, sitting at 9-4. And Lawson's are number 2, Missouri Sports Talk number 2. So I obviously will take the Cardinals here. As I said, I think I said it, sitting at 11-2. I might not have said that. They're scoring 7.2 runs a game, and they're 19-5 against Lathrop since 2013.
Yeah, Lathrop's definitely struggled at times this year, but Lawson, they're my number 1. They're with our number 2, so I just think they're able to win this one pretty easily.
That's all you got for today. You got to go ahead and get to work. You might be
just a couple minutes.
Maybe like 30 minutes late.
Yeah.
That's all right. It doesn't matter, right? You're here working for me anyway. So, that's all you got for today. Tomorrow will be the large school rankings, and then Thursday will be large school predictions.
Okay.
This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.